Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy. It's my pleasure. It's always my honor to be greeting you and bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And that is why I want to speak to you concerning the ancestor of every action. And it is very important for each and everyone to come to the realization that the ancestor of every action is thought. Because it's only when you realize that the ancestor of every action is thought, then you would realize that everything is mental and everything is psychological, and that everything was forced a thought, and that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. That's how you come to realize that the Bible is not literal, neither is it secular history. And then you would know that it was written symbolically, and it have no reference to anyone who existed thousands of years ago or to any actual event that would have taken place on earth thousands of years ago. It's the only thing that would help you to be more responsible for your actions. Because when you know that everything starts in the mind, then you will also know that all creativity starts in the mind. Then you will know all poverty and prosperity starts in the mind. So wealth and riches starts in the mind. So the ancestor of every action is thought. Which means all the people all around the world who believe in a God outside of themselves and believe in a man 2,000 years ago, it means that they do not even have the right concept of how their mind works. They do not even have any concept of the ancestor of all action. It means that you're living in a world whereby you're walking around as a living dead. So churches today are filled with living dead. People who have no concept at all concerning the mind and how thoughts really become things, and how our ability and our creativity can never be expressed unless it was forced a thought. So my brother, my sisters, in short, what I'm saying to you, we must first of all embrace the real ancestor of every action before we can speak about embracing and believing our physical ancestors. Because it's only until we realize their main teaching is man know thyself, that we would realize that each and every one of our physical ancestors have been pointing us to the ancestor of every action, which is thoughts, so that we would govern our minds, so that others would not govern our minds. We live in a world where the school system have been set up in a way so that we would not be the governor or the presidents of our own minds. Because we see there's a political system and a religious system also to control your mind. And everyone, whether is it the educators or the politicians or the religious leaders, they all are competing for your mind. But I'm saying to you, you have the power to take control of your mind by understanding your true ancestor. And that true ancestor is the ancestor of every action. And that is thought. We look around and we see the prisons, they are filled. They're filled with men and women who have never recognized the ancestor of every action. And so, my brothers and my sisters, my encouragement to you is to share this message of self-realization, this message of enlightenment to others, by first of all pointing out to them how important it is to know their ancestor. And I'm not speaking of the physical ancestors that we all has been pointing each other to believe and to accept. The first thing you have to do is accept the responsibility for your thoughts and your actions. Because that's how you'd really be able to understand the importance of being connected to your ancestors and what they would have believed way before slavery. In short, what I'm saying to you, you have to first free yourself from mental slavery. And secular Christianity has been used to keep us in mental slavery. So everything that is going on in the world, it is because there are those who do not know the ancestor of every action. And there are many people who do not know that every action will give you a reaction, and every reaction comes from an action. Everything is cause and effect. So it is very, very, very important for us to really, really think on how important it is to utilize our minds so we can bring out more of our creativity. Because when we live in our creative minds, we will be able to operate in our genius ability that is within us. For when we look around the world, we're seeing so many different creative things that have been invented. And sometimes it seems like we are always behind. And it's like we are always playing catch up with the other races of the world. And the reason for that is because we're still having this superstitious and religious mentality, still blaming a devil outside of itself and still believing in demons and these things as physical beings outside of ourselves, or entity outside of ourselves, and fail to realize the power of the mind and fail to realize the ancestor of every action. So my brother and my sisters, I'm just making this video to show how important it is for our people to be taught about the power of their mind and to understand how the conscious and subconscious mind really works. Because definitely our people are suffering from a mental disease. And until we show our people that they're suffering from a mental disease, many of them will not be able to tap into their creativity, and they will not be able to bring value to humanity. So my brothers, my sisters, if you're listening to me, knowledge is power, but only until you apply that knowledge, it would really become power. So use this knowledge that I'm sharing with you to help your brothers and sisters who are still trapped in Christianity. Do not argue with them. But if you could get across to them that the ancestor of every action is thought, then you can take that very Bible and free them. And you can look at it with them from the very angle that they are looking at it from, whereby they believe that it is literal, and still win the battle. Because if it was literal and it was literal people, they would have to tell you one thing that they would have done that was a force of thought, or force mental, or force psychological. So as long as you can reason from that angle and explain to them, look, the ancestor of every action. Or you ask them, let me ask you a question. Do you know what is the ancestor? Who is the ancestor? What is the ancestor of every action? They say, what kind of question is that? You see, they never think like that before. Because whenever you say ancestor, everybody just think about those who would have lived and died many years ago. But from the beginning of civilization, or from the beginning of man, or the beginning of time, it has always been those who would triumph and those who would live in a higher place. It is because they would have found the secret of the mind and how thought works. And so, my brother, my sisters, you know, I feel so good knowing that I would have found myself and come to realize that I am the cause of everything in my life. I want to say to you, my brother, my sisters, you are the cause of everything in your life. And it is very simple for us to help our brothers and our sisters instead of, trying to fight with them from what they would have believed for many years and what would have already been planted in their subconscious mind. Lovingly, calmly, you can sit and you can show them the simple way to understand that everything, every action, it was for a thought, it was for mental. Then you can show them that the Bible could not have been written unless it was for mental or for psychological. But first, my brothers and my sisters, you must enrich yourself. You must put yourself in a place whereby everything is fine with you, and you would have already used your mental faculties to create your reality consciously, and people would have looked and see changes in your life. Because sometimes you think people are not looking at you, but they are looking at you. Just recently I was having a conversation with someone, and he said to me, he always tell people, don't look at me simple, I just move simple. But he's a man, you are a man filled with wisdom. Okay? And so, my brother, my sisters, I just want to say to you, we are to use our wisdom, wisely. in order to help to free our brothers and our sisters from secular Christianity. Because the real Armageddon is a war of the mind. It's the battle of the mind. It's been going on from ever since, and it's happening even now. So my brother, my sister, I'm encouraging you to join with me in the battlefield to win the minds of our people. I would have heard many people speak about this book written by, I think it's Dale Carnegie, that speak about how to win friends and influence people. I've never really read that book, but I will definitely look at it. But I want to say to you that we have to have that kind of mindset to win friends and influence people. But it doesn't mean that you're going to kiss their behinds and try to be what you are not. Okay, we have to be true to ourselves and we have to be real, because many of us, we have different kind of personalities. But if we can, be very wise in how we communicate with them along with this seeing certain progress in our lives, it will be able to help them a lot. And that's why, my brother, my sister, I want to encourage you to use this knowledge to bring progress in your life. And even those who might disagree with you at first, they may feel like they dislike you at first. As you continue to grow in wisdom, because you understand the ancestor of every action is thought, and you start to work upon yourself, you'll be able to become a positive influence in their life. So my brother, my sisters, as I come to a close, I'm reaching out to you for all of us to work together, because it's really deep on my heart. To see our people, today all of the churches, they're filled with men and women who are blaming circumstances on things outside of themselves, and who really believe in an entity outside of themselves and fail to realize that they are the cause of everything in their life. And it's a sad thing to see our people like that, and to see myself at one time being wrapped up and tied up in secular Christianity. It's very painful for me to, really see what is really happening. And let me say this, as I said, I was going to come to a close before. Always remember that your economy is your mentality. So if you really govern your mentality, you'll be able to govern your outer economy. And we are in an economical war. And I'm saying to you, my brother, my sisters, sometimes you have to make sacrifice. In order to come to that higher place of consciousness, that you can really be of more value to humanity. All my desire in life right now is to be of more value to humanity. Is to reach out to people all around the world. To give love. Because that's all I can do. What I'm doing here, that's all I know to do, my brothers and my sisters. And I'm bringing the best of myself to you. And I'm speaking out of a heart of love, because I found myself. And it's only until I found myself I really found love. That's when I found the Savior and the Redeemer. That's when I know that God in man is man's imagination, and that the eternal body of man is the imagination, and that is God himself. And there is no other God. God is not a man in the sky. So my brother, my sisters, be responsible for your thoughts and action. And remember, first of all, that the ancestor of every action is thought. So teach our people first how to discover that ancestor before you point them to the other ancestors back in Africa. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to thank you very much, and I want to say, if what I'm saying it makes sense to you and is really helping you in any way, if you haven't subscribed already, I'm encouraging you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. Also, I would like to encourage you to follow me on Instagram at BlackMadGuru, and also to check out my Patreon. We have the Inner Sun Science and Technology course, the Inner Sun Engineering to create your reality consciously, and I'm gonna continue just keep teaching and posting videos concerning the inner sun and how to really, use the inner sun science and technology to create your reality consciously. So if there's any other way that you would like to support this work, we have a PayPal, and the link is down below. Also, I've been writing blogs, and I have a website. It's alanhansonwisdom.com, and I'll make sure to provide the link. I'm still doing a little bit of work on it, but you can still go there and you can read my blogs and so on, okay? And I want to increase traffic there, and so I want to encourage you to check out my blogs. I think I have already about maybe say 14 blogs already, okay? And I'm going to continue to write blogs all the time, so I'm encouraging you to do that, okay? So with all of that being said, my brother and my sister, I say peace, love you all, I'm out.